So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Now listen, before we get started, bro, I need y'all to check something to make sure it's not just me. But when I went to search chemtrails up on TikTok, it won't allow it. It says community guidelines or something like that. Because I wanted to really dive into that too a little bit tonight, touch over in that and see what I can find. But they not allowing that to be even like remotely. So see if y'all can see it. And if y'all can see it, then it's just me. But if not, then they not allowing it. But we're gonna start here in Massachusetts. They dealing with the fog and the crazy and creepiness out there too. Let's check it out.
The fog in Massachusetts this morning feels ominous. The fog
used to be, you'd be like, you're standing outside with a cup of coffee thinking that's just the most beautiful sight in the morning. Now you want to stand inside behind the glass door and stand there with your coffee because you don't want to go outside in this, bro. We don't know what it is.
Days I'm seeing a ton of people posting on here about what seems like inordinate amounts of fog, and it seems to be all over the country. People are reporting it in different parts of the world, and you're correct. There is more fog in the air. There's more moisture in the air than you're used to. I noticed this 2 summers ago, 2023, here in Alaska, when it was very humid. Now, our summers are typically wet. It rains a lot, but we don't have that kind of humid. Like, I was walking around in 60 degrees, sweating, clothes clinging to me like I was in New Orleans. That was very unusual. So I looked into it. And as it turns out, there's a submarine volcano off Tonga called Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcano. It's underwater, and about 3 years ago, it went through a sustained eruption beginning in December and ending sometime in January. That produced massive amounts of water vapor that it put into the atmosphere that goes all over the earth. So yes, there is more moisture in the atmosphere than we were used to prior to 3 years ago, and it's very noticeable. So unusual, yep. Harmful, probably not. It might have some greenhouse effect. I don't know, that might have something to do with some of the changing weather patterns are going on. How long is it going to last? I don't know. It's there. They were talking about years, decades long, patterns of changes. I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert, but yeah, there is more moisture in the air than we're used to. The last couple days, I'm seeing a ton.
And wise words. I respect it 100%. But if that's the case, I keep saying, why is the government being so secretive about it then? What's the reasoning that they wouldn't come out and say the exact words he said? Why? What is it? What's going on? What do they know? What have they picked up on? What are they like? Yeah, no. I just, for me, I just can't see that being the case and they being secretive about that.
Look at how bulky it is. Whoa. Look at how weird it looks.
Now she's bold, because there ain't no way. I don't even want to breathe that in. I would be out there like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no. And did you see the way it, this way, then that way, then up, then down, then side, then side. It just kept, it's like it's responding to her movements almost. Like, no. That's way, like, she should have ran right back inside.
me get this straight. Just recently, Congress told us that they know that there is a presence in the ocean and that they believe aliens actually come from the ocean, and that there is an intelligence beyond our capacity at the bottom of the ocean. Now, all of a sudden, so many things are happening, like what's going on in New Jersey. If you haven't heard, the police department has reported that they saw 50 unidentified drones coming up from the ocean. They're calling it terrifying because they don't know what it is. In a whole separate occasion, the U.S. Coast Guard reportedly spotted 13 unidentified drones, which they actually sent out an industrial grade drone after those 13, and it still couldn't catch up with them. I guess I'm just wondering, why all of a sudden? So you're telling me as soon as the government tells us that these things are real, now everything's just coming up from the waters? First of all, we already knew. We already knew that the space that we know is not real space. It's actually at the bottom of the ocean. We cannot escape the firmament God put in place. So y'all not telling us anything new. But I just find it funny that as soon as they do say it, all of these sightings start happening. It's almost like they're trying to manipulate and mold what they want us to think and see. Sounds a little bit like Project Bluebeam. And honestly, y'all, it's starting to look like we're closer than we think. If y'all want another video on what Project Bluebeam is, I will definitely make one. I'll probably make one after.
It's starting to feel like, I don't know, they planned this maybe? Don't it feel kind of like this is planned? Maybe that's why they're silent, because everything is going according to plan. We're just out here confused and running around and scrambling to try to get answers, and they have them. That maybe it's just me that feel that way, but seems kind of planned and orchestrated a little bit to me.
I'm gonna need you guys to not be deceived. These aliens that are underwater that the government is so suddenly eager to let us know about are not aliens, but they're demons. Literally, Christians have been sounding crazy for years and years, but the Bible has said that these demons have been underwater from the beginning, okay? So let me give you a quick rundown in case you do not understand it. But basically, the book of Noah, which everybody loves, the flood, oh my gosh, the book of Noah came to be because these fallen angels had procreated with women on the earth, to the point where they had hybrids walking around the earth. Okay, so giants were born, half beasts, half fallen angels were born, to the point that human life became jeopardized because they were eating the food meant for humans. And because they were giants, clearly the earth wouldn't have been enough for them if they kept procreating. So God decided to send a flood almost to refresh the earth, to be like, okay, enough is enough, I have to intervene. And the reason he chose Noah is because his family had not procreated with any of these fallen beings, okay? So he chose Noah and his children because they were of pure blood, and also because they hadn't sinned. But it wasn't just because of the sin, because people are still sinning today. But because of these fallen angels, God takes these angels that had started everything and locks them inside the river. And I think it's the river
Euphrates. The Euphrates River. Done several videos on it. Remember, we talked about how that river was drying up, and things were supposed to, according to the text, start to be released and exposed when that. So yeah, the entire time she was talking, I was thinking Euphrates River.
I walked out because it was worthless. It was the biggest amateur hour presentation I've ever seen about anything, okay? It was ridiculous. There were no answers. Every question that was asked by a member of the state legislature, great questions, no answers, no resolution. They don't know where the drones are coming from. They don't know who's doing it. They don't know why they're doing it, but they say there's no credible threat. It was annoying to be there. I drove 2 hours to be here today, spent an hour in there. I got to drive 2 hours back. The biggest waste of 5 hours in my entire life.
So why do you think they called this meeting?
No idea. Why would you call a meeting to tell people you don't know anything? I have no idea. And then when the legislators were asked questions, there were no answers. Here's the most frustrating part. The colonel of the state police said that he had a helicopter of his flying above one of these drones, a 6-foot drone or something, I can't remember exactly what he said, and he felt unsafe for his helicopter, so he just let it go. Just let it go. Where'd it go? Who knows? You know, didn't want to follow it because you didn't feel safe. Is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? I mean, honestly.
Do they have any idea where these drones are originating?
No, they don't. They would. Maybe if they followed that sucker to when it landed, they would know, but they don't. This is a complete lack of effort, in my opinion, on trying to figure this out. This is not about ability. We have the technology, we have the people, we have the training, we have the resources, we have the money. It's just a lack of effort. I mean,
why?
I don't know. They should be saying, you know what they should have done today with productive use of our time, if they didn't know anything? Come in there and say, hey, legislators, we don't know anything, but if you get us these 10 things, do these 10 things for us, and the governor calls in this kind of action, we can figure it out. Will you help us? And then we would have helped them. But instead, it was just excuse after excuse, and we know nothing. It was infuriating, and I got up and I walked out.
You've been in the service, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Finally, somebody. And you can tell how frustrated he is. He don't like to be lied to. That's just how we feel. We tired of being lied to. Why would you even call a meeting if you could have sent that through email, bro. Text me. Text me, please. Make me drive hours for nothing. Come on, man. We tired of this, bro. Buddy's standing out in the rain giving this interview. That's how frustrated. Look at his jacket. Look at his jacket, fam. You gotta take that to the dry cleaners. You know he finna be mad.
I was an attack helicopter pilot, Apache helicopter pilot in the Army, and I helped stand up the initial unmanned aircraft training battalion in the aviation sector of the Army. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and these guys are not doing the job they need to do to figure out what's going on, and that is the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the state police.
And they're saying no threat to Americans.
They're saying no threat, but how the hell do they know? They don't know anything. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it come from. They don't know nothing. When I walked in here today, I was actually pretty calm. I was excited to be here to find out a couple things. I thought they'd be like, hey, listen, it's FedEx, trying to figure out. But instead, I got the most ridiculous amateur hour briefing I've ever sat through.
Hey, I don't even know that dude's name, but I like him. I like that dude right there. You know what I'm saying? There's certain people you could just tell, and they ain't with the BS, bro. He not with it. He not with it. And we not either. But now some of them are starting to feel like what we feel like, though, and see how it feels to be lied to, though. Seriously.
This comes as a study finds about 7 in 10 adults say that denials for health care coverage by insurance companies or profits made by health insurance companies also bear at least a moderate amount of responsibility for Thompson's death. With renewed attention on health insurance, the public taking to social media to share their experiences with the industry, including our next guest, who says she used to work for United Healthcare. Her TikTok now going viral.
Well, I worked for United Healthcare for like maybe 9 months. Here's my story. I worked in the medical claims department and went through training for about 2 to 3 months to get out on the claims rep floor and was taught so many different ways to deny.
That is Natalie Collins. She is now the owner of Mother's Keeper Doula. She joins us now to share more about her experience. Natalie, I appreciate you making the time, and I want to start with what you just said there. You say you were taught so many different ways to deny. Tell me more about that. What did you feel you were encouraged to do?
Every policy is completely different, so there was medical jargon in each policy that led us to have to follow these procedures, but more or less we weren't given proper instruction to actually pay the claim, and there wasn't enough monies in certain files in certain companies to pay medical claims, so we would have to just get the client off the phone as fast as we could, and then if they weren't liking what we were saying from the script, then we would just call a supervisor and they would stand behind us, and while I was crying, they were laughing.
You would actually cry.
Wow. Talk about the biggest scam, bro. Biggest scam. And all they tell you is, you have to have it. You have to have it. That's all I've heard my whole life when it comes to it. You have to have it. You gotta have it. Gotta pay for it. It's like air. You gotta have it.
On the job sometimes?
Oh my gosh, it was so sad. It was so heartbreaking. I was the bad guy every single day. Does that not feel good to anyone? Like, that doesn't feel good to me.
Was there pressure to find ways to deny claims? What exactly were you told?
We would have to go through multiple series of completions to see if we could push through claims, and sometimes it would get kicked back to us and be denied straight to the rep, and sometimes we would get them back. They would come back and we would think that they got paid, but they actually didn't, which is my fear with this claim that I was originally talking about. So
yeah, tell us more about this, because you say there was one specific hospice claim in particular, a widowed woman who called you. You say her husband had passed from pancreatic cancer, left her with 5 boys. And you say they, quote, told me every which way to deny this woman to get her off of our phone line. Tell me more about this case. You call it despicable.
They just wouldn't allow me to submit the claim. There would be alerts on each claim telling us that either we had to put it back in our queue and it would just go to someone else 30 days later, 60 days later, however they had it set up. And then we would have to manually go in and try to find that claim. And that's what I ended up doing, was to go in there and find it and pay it myself. But yes, if there was things being said or lots of phone calls being placed by the same caller, then supervisors would be behind us, instructing us to tell them certain ways to deny it or just to get them off the phone.
That's crazy that an insurance company sounds a lot like a call center floor, a collection center floor. You ever worked for a call center or collections and ever been in there and seen the chaos that you go through and deal with on a day-to-day basis? I have. I've worked for collections, a few companies, bro. And this sounds just like that. And that's scary. That is super scary, bro. Like, holy.
How did you perceive your role while you were there? Did you feel that you were truly there to help connect people with these services, to help them achieve their healthcare goals?
Not at all. Simple answer. Not at all. It was just a sad building all around.
Mm-hmm. And you say that you eventually did try to apply money to this specific woman's claim, this specific woman's case, and then you say you shortly quit after that. Tell me what happened.
Yeah. So once you get out on the claims rep floor and you're approved a certain amount of monies to pay dollar amount claims, I hit that amount for this woman's claim, and that was the only one that I went in that day to pay. And the moment I hit paid, we went on. It's like a timeout thing, and I just went over to my supervisor and I gave her my badge and I left.
That was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back in that moment.
Absolutely.
There is so much interest in United Healthcare right now, with the system in general, with Luigi Mangioni's case. I mean, we're looking at more than $200,000 the public is funneling into his defense fund. What is the message that you want the public to know, having seen the system from the inside?
Oh, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. I would push your employer to get you guys a better plan. It's all about your employer and who they are negotiating with to get their employees the best health coverage. So your plan at these certain companies can be great, but the other employees that work in different departments can have different things offered to them, and people have quit jobs to find better coverages elsewhere for just health insurance.
Oh, absolutely. Tell me why you're choosing to talk about this on social media now.
I've had this story just like circulating in my head for about 11, 12 years now. And I mean, it's a hot topic right now. So, and someone just made a comment on one of my TikToks saying like, yeah, talk about United Healthcare. So I just did it, and I woke up the next morning and was shocked. I thought I was just going to reach my doula community, and we were going to have a conversation about like other doula coverages, but I'll start talking then. So yeah. It got big.
What is your message to insurance companies in this country?
We, the people, are sick and tired. We're fighting so tooth and nail every single day. My neighbors around me, hearing about their premiums coming out of their paychecks from the RIP, is just so incredibly sad. What this family could do with this money would be so amazing to relieve our people of this, but there's a better way. Do I know what that is? I have no idea, but what we have in the systems that we have right now, it's just not fair, and it should be done and over with.
Yeah, and I want to bring up one more thing with the time we have left.
Man, I'd probably say the first 10, 15 years of my working career, I didn't have too much insurance, bro. I didn't have insurance at all at a lot of those places I worked at. I didn't have it at Walmart. I didn't have it at Walmart distribution, I don't think. I couldn't afford it, bro. I just could. There's no possible way I could afford that and live. So I just tried to just hope and pray that nothing never happened, bro. It wasn't until I got to the fire department that I was actually able to get some decent insurance that was coming out of my check. I still couldn't afford it though. The benefits were a little better than most, but I could have used that money. That's why when you hear other countries talk about how little they pay for healthcare, bro, it's frustrating.
We were looking at a study at the beginning of this, finding that 7 in 10 adults say that denials for healthcare coverage or profits made by health insurance companies bear at least a moderate amount of responsibility for the CEO's death. What is your take? What is your response to that?
No, I don't believe anyone should die. I don't believe anyone should have the repercussions of ending their lives. But people are angry. People have reasons to be very angry. And I feel that to my bones. I've seen it. I lived it. I processed them. And I denied them. It should stop.
Natalie Collins, I really appreciate your candor. I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much.
From inside the house, look at this. If this isn't a UFO, staring into the home. This is crazy, bro. This is knuckin' futz, my boy. I've never seen anything like this in my life. That is actually wild.
Holy crap, what the heck happened here last night? I'm in Illinois, northern Illinois. Just came out here to take my dogs out. Don't look at this. This is a mess, but this is what you get. Holy shit, what is going on? I came out here to let the dogs out. My backyard, we also have literally cornfields behind us, just cornfields. What is that? What is that? We just went through the fog last week, the great fog of 2024, I guess. But I just came out and there is a circle burned into my yard. What is going on? Did anybody else come outside and see this in their yards today? Again, I am in Illinois. What is going on? What is freaking crazy is yesterday when I was coming home from the grocery store, my daughter and I were in the car. We look up at the sky. Right back here in this field, there's this white thing flying. And I'm like, that can't be anything. It's white. But it wasn't like flying. It was flying, but it was hovering. And I could kick myself for not taking a video of it because I swear it happened. I keep asking my daughter, what is going on? Go outside. Everybody check your yards and let me know if anything's happening. I'm actually genuinely concerned. Holy crap.
Nah, I ain't going out there. Outside is a foreign place. I ain't going out there. Uber Eats, everything is coming to me, bro. Leave it at the door. I ain't going out there.
Hey, listen, yo, check this out, yo. I see something in the sky, yo. I'm telling you. Hold on. Yo, check this out. No BS, man. This is right here in the middle of the road. Like, I'm driving down the road here. Look, this is my car right here. No BS, yo. No BS.
Yeah, but don't get out the car. Oh my God. Get back in the car. I don't have an issue with you recording or not. Like, just stay in the car though.
BS. This thing is in the road, in the sky right there, in front of me. I'm on the road going to Somerville like this thing turning. What the f is going on? BS, yo, that thing is in the sky. Look, y'all. I want to know if the car. Hey, listen, yo, check this out.
Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America. And
fossilized bones aren't the only way to study dinosaurs. Preserved footprints also offer clues to their prehistoric lives. Now, some of the biggest trackways ever found in the UK have been discovered in Oxfordshire. Scientists hope it'll help them understand even more about how dinosaurs moved around. Our science editor, Rebecca Morrell, reports.
Following in the footsteps of a Jurassic giant. This is where a dinosaur walked 166 million years ago, its footprints revealing the comings and goings of a prehistoric world. But it wasn't alone. Different trackways crisscrossed this entire site. They were discovered on the floor of a limestone quarry in Oxfordshire by one of the workers.
So I was doing basically clearing the clay, and I was hitting a hump.
So like
yeah,
this
yeah, it was,
thing here?
As it turned out, it was this front bit I was hitting, and I thought it's just an abnormality in the ground, but then it got to another, about 3 metres long, it was hump again. And then it went another 3 metres, hump again. And when I got out and examined it, it looked like footprints. And the weird thing about it was, when you sit there, it was like, I'm the first person to see them. Yeah, it was a bit of a tingling moment, really.
Over the summer, scientists, students and volunteers joined the dig. They discovered about 200 footprints, some stretching for 150 metres, making it the largest track site ever found in the UK and one of the biggest in the world. This is the first trackway that was discovered here. It was made by a sauropod, a huge long-necked dinosaur. But the team quickly realised it wasn't the only one, and they found footprints from 2 more sauropods, as well as from a smaller meat-eating 2-legged dinosaur called a megalosaur. And they think that there are plenty more of these waiting to be discovered here. The area was once a tropical lagoon, and the tracks were made as the dinosaurs walked across the mud. But something happened that stopped the footprints from being washed away, possibly a storm that covered them up with sediment, perfectly preserving them.
Possibly some fog that probably came through and took them out. You know, some fog, maybe some smart dust was studying them back then. I don't know, maybe.
So the really lovely thing about a dinosaur footprint, particularly if you have a trackway, is that it is a snapshot in the life of the animal. You can learn things about how that animal moved, you can learn how fast it was moving, you can learn exactly what the environment that it was living in was like. So tracks give us a whole different set of information that you can't get from the bone fossil record.
We're coming up to a dinosaur crossroads. What you have here are footprints from a sauropod, and you can actually see as it pressed down into the mud how it created this ridge here. There is also a footprint from a smaller 2-legged meat-eating dinosaur called a megalosaur, and it was moving in this direction. The question is, which one walked through here first? And scientists think it was the sauropod, because you can see how the smaller megalosaur footprint slightly crushed down this ridge as it was walking through. At the Oxford University Museum of Natural History, a Megalosaurus specimen is one of the world's most important fossils.
Megalosaurus was the first dinosaur ever named anywhere in the world. So this exact fossil, this is the real one in my hands, this fossil started all of the last 200 years of dinosaur science. The whole animal would have been between 6 and 9 meters in length, and in life this animal would have had these impressive serrated teeth all the way along its jawbone. These were agile, carnivorous predators. They were the largest predatory dinosaurs in the Jurassic period in Britain.
The future fate of the trackways hasn't yet been decided. The quarrying will go on here for several years. But paleontologists think there are more footprints, echoes of our prehistoric past, just waiting to be discovered. Rebecca Morrell, BBC News, Oxfordshire.
Well, let's speak to Richard Butler, research co-lead and Professor of Paleobiology at the University of Birmingham. Thank you very much for joining us. What was your reaction when you learnt about this discovery?
Well, I got to see them a number of months before they were, we did the excavation. So when they were first discovered by one of the quarry workers, and I thought this was just one of the most remarkable track sites I'd ever seen anywhere in the world. And then as we uncovered more and more of it last summer, it became more and more remarkable. And
See, this is what we should be enjoying: finding footprints of prehistoric dinosaurs and stuff like that, and being in amazement of the history. But no, we got so many other things to worry about right now that we can't even enjoy this.
The sheer scale of it really became apparent.
Why does it matter?
So it matters because this is part of our kind of our shared history. Really, this is part of the history of the United Kingdom. And so these tracks formed 166 million years ago. They tell us about what life here, where we are today on this island, was like in the middle of Jurassic, all that time ago. So we can reconstruct the environment, we can reconstruct the animals that lived there. We can understand more about how the world that we're in today came to be and what life was like deep in the past.
And why do you want to know more about how these giant creatures moved around?
So we have lots of information from bones of dinosaurs, lots of dinosaur skeletons, but they only tell us so much. So they are kind of a snapshot the death of an animal. What tracks give us is a snapshot in the life of an animal. So they're an actual moment, one of the reasons they're so remarkable, when an animal walked over a surface that's been preserved in the fossil record remarkably for 166 million years. So we can take that and we can learn things we wouldn't be able to learn otherwise about how these animals walked, how they interacted, their behavior and so on.
The imaging used on this site, which helps bring all of this to life, I mean, how typical is its use?
I would say now it's becoming standard. So we use drones to image the site. We took something like 20,000 photographs. We'll be making we have made already, very detailed 3D photogrammetric models of the site. This is becoming the standard way that we would record these kind of sites. But actually, tracks were discovered very close to this area back in the 1990s, and we didn't have that technology. And so a lot of the data from those original discoveries has been lost. So what we're able to do now, using kind of technology like drones, is make permanent records of the site, which will be used by scientists for we hope, generations to come.
How do you preserve it? Can you?
Well, so it's still an active working quarry, and it will be an active working quarry for some time. So there's ongoing discussions between ourselves and the quarry operators who've been very, very supportive of everything we've been doing, and Natural England about the future of the site. It may not be possible to preserve it in its current form, but we will have that permanent digital record, and that allows us to study the track far into the future. It also allows us to share it with the public. So whatever happens to the physical site, we will have that digital record.
Professor Richard Butler from the University of Birmingham, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.